life gives us something we don't appreciate it. And you know its value, it's too late. Here Taehyung is crying crazily, clutching a pillow, hiding his face in it. He can't think anything but the bunny-faced man. All he could see was his sad face. His teary eyes were torturing him. He rubbed his eyes and took out his phone. The pictures they took together were mocking him, telling him this could have been their future only if he had given him a chance. He was mourning in grief when the door burst open by his best friend. "What the fuck did you do, you bitch?" Jimin shouted at him angrily. Taehyung didn't say anything and looked away, wiping his tears. "They are going back tomorrow, you dumb bitch. He said you don't love him. He was crying his heart out, do you know that?" Jimin sat on the bed. Taehyung shifted his body and wrapped his arms around Jimin's waist. He hid his face in his lap, still not looking at him. Jimin sighed loudly and caressed his hair. "He is a nice boy, Tae-Tae," he said in a calm tone, while all he could hear was soft sniffs from the latter. "He came back to uni and cried, you know." He asked if he could go back to Seoul alone, but Uni and Hobi Hyung didn't want to let him go alone. "So they are leaving tomorrow." His grip tightened around Jimin, tears still following down his eyes. Jimin could feel his shirt getting wet. "Give him a chance, Tae. He is not like him. Everyone is different, Tae. Do you know he is an orphan?" Taehyung stiffed right there. He pulled out and got up, rubbing his face with his sleeves. He looked at Jimin curiously with wide eyes. His parents died when he was 10 in an accident. He lives with his uncle, who apparently is Uni's father. He has never been any relationship as he is focusing in his career, but a certain bear took his breath away in a blink of an eye. When he saw you in the market, he couldn't stop himself from stalking you everywhere. He had been madly following you everywhere you go from 7 days, Tae, he said, wiping his tears. "Now that you are listening, do you want to know what happened that night?" Jimin asked softly. Taehyung looked down, biting his lips. Yes, he is dying to know what happened. He is dying to know more about him. He is dying to go back to him and hug him, just if he had some courage. He nodded his head slowly, still looking down. Jimin smiled a little. Taehyung finally wants to know his side of the story. Hope things would change by the end of the story. "Guess our friends are set for the night," somebody said to me. I looked at my right to find a bunny boy smiling at me. "I guess so," I said, sipping my drink. "Hi, I'm Jungkook and you are?" he said, raising his hands in front of me. Should I say my real name to a total stranger in an unknown club of foreign nation? Well, not to mention my best friend is currently snuggling with a friend of this stranger. "Hi, I'm Taehyung." Human were lost in their own world while Taekook were sipping their drinks. They were happily sharing some funny stories. Taehyung was a little drunk, but Jungkook was sober. He just had 2 drinks. With no time, Taekook became close to each other. Taehyung happily giggled between the talks. He wanted to dance, but Jungkook was not so sure about it. He was about to say no when Taehyung pulled him towards the floor. "Tae, slow down," he said, wrapping his hands around his waist. A spark ran through his body. It's the first time he was touching the other. Taehyung smiled widely, showing his boxy smile. "No, Tae want to dance with Cookie." Jungkook smiled widely, listening his nickname. He grabbed his Kook hands and went through the crowd in the middle of the floor. He left his hand and began to swap his body slowly. Jungkook bit his lower lips. The way Taehyung was sensually moving his hips were turning him on. He can stare at him dancing the whole night, but his thoughts were abrupt by a drunk, bulky guy trying to dance with him. The guy was smirking, looking at Taehyung with lustful eyes. Jungkook didn't like it a bit. The guy came closer and was about to put his hands on his waist when Jungkook pulled towards himself. Taehyung, startled by the sudden force, he looked up to see the person who pulled him. He smiled, seeing it was Jungkook. His music changed to a slow, romantic one. Taehyung wrapped his hands around his neck and leaned his head on his shoulders. Jungkook wrapped his hands around his waist. It's warm in here, Cookie, he said, rubbing his face on the crook of his neck. Jungkook smiled. His heart skipped a beat. The feeling was euphoric for him. It was only a dream for him. Taehyung was in his arms, the boy he has been dreaming of for months. The one he had been following everywhere like a lost puppy was finally in his embrace. Jungkook smiled and rested his cheeks on his head. Their body moved slowly in the beat, both totally lost in each other, not caring about anything. The music changed to a fast beat, but the two still were lost in each other. Still moving their connected bodies, slowly resting their heads together. But their little romantic time was interrupted by Taehyung, or should I say a little eruption in his stomach caused by the drinks he consumed. Taehyung felt weird and broke their hug and went straight to washroom. Jungkook was about to rush behind him when Hobie came to him bringing him some drinks. "Where are you going? Here, have this drink," he said, handing him the drink. "No, actually, Hobie, Taehyung went to the washroom. I think he is sick. I need to check on him." "I'll be right back," he said, giving back the drink and rushed behind Taehyung to the washroom. Jungkook reached the washroom, but there was no one. He opened every stall, but he didn't find Taehyung. He went towards the floor again, searching for him, but he didn't find him there too. He was scared now. Where can he be? Maybe he got back to Jimin. He searched for Jimin. He found them on the same table they had drinks before, but Taehyung was not there. They all searched him all around the building. "Shit, I should have went with him. Where are you, babe?" Jungkook was frustrated now. He was on the second floor now, searching him on every room, when he heard something. "Leave me, you bald hippo." Jungkook rushed towards the room and banged the door. "Tae, babe, are you there? Babe, open the door," he shouted, banging the door hardly. "Cookie, I'm in here. Leave me, you bald crocodile. My Cookie is here. He will kick your ugly ass. Cookie, break the door." Jungkook was kicking the door furiously, listening Tae's word. He was scared to death now. His Tae was inside a locked room, drunk, with some bald hippo and crocodile. He kicked the door once more, revealing his Tae under a drunk bald man hovering over him, trying to kiss him. Jungkook was beyond furious now. He grabbed the man from collar and threw him on the floor. "Yeeha, see, my Cookie is here, bald octopus," he said, jumping on the bed. The bald man was about to stand up when Jungkook hovered over him, punching the hell out of him. Suga, Jimin and Hobie came there running and saw the situation. Hobie pulled Jungkook and Suga took the bald guy before the bunny would kill him. Jimin went to Taehyung and covered him with his jacket that was lying on the floor. "Are you okay, T-Bear?" he asked, hugging the boy. Taehyung giggled and pulled away from the hug. "Yes, Minmin, I'm okay," he said, hugging Jimin. "Did you see, Cookie kicked the bald dolphin? Wait, dolphins are cute." He was not cute. Cookie kicked the bald chimpanzee. He giggled, kicking his legs in air. The manager of the club came and took the drunk guy away. Jungkook rushed to where the blabbering boy was hugging his best friend. "Tae," he said, going towards him. The said boy broke the hug from his best friend and threw himself over Jungkook. Jungkook caught him with ease. Taehyung wrapped his legs around his waist and Jungkook carried him easily to the bed. "Are you okay, babe? Sorry I left you alone." "Did he hurt you, Angel?" he said, rubbing Nape, hugging him tightly. "No, Cookie, don't be sorry. I'm absolutely fine," he said, rubbing his face on the crook of his neck. Yoon Min-seok were watching the duo with hard eyes. Jimin was surprised how easily Taehyung became close to Jungkook and being clingy with a stranger he met just some hours ago. It was not like Taehyung, but who can blame him? He was drunk and not himself today. After a while, Taehyung pulled out of the hug and started blabbering again. "Did you guys see how Cookie kicked that bald Godzilla? He flew away to the floor and Cookie punched his face like phew phew phew," he said, enacting the fight with his little fist. "And he went like phew phew." The bald Catraptosaurus went like ah. "Don't hit me ah, Catraptosaurus," Suga said, raising his eyes. "I ran out of animals, deal with it," he said and turned back to Jungkook. "Where was I?" "Oh yeah, he was like, no, Mr. Handsome Cookie, don't kill me." Taehyung kept blabbering and Jungkook just listened him with big doe eyes filled with only love and adoration. The boys decided to go back to the hotel. Jimin was sure Jin will kill him if he sees the drunk boy, and he also wanted to spend some time with Suga. He was confused, thinking what to do next when a pair of hands wrapped around his waist. If you don't want to go, then you can stay with us. We can go back to our hotel. We can know more about each other, beautiful, he said, placing a kiss on his Jimin temple. Jimin blushed and looked down. And I guess the little speaker is not gonna stop talking to Kook anyway, Hobie said, looking at the duo who were lost in their own world. Jimin looked at his best friend and thought for a second. Will it be okay to go with some strangers? That too when your best friend is drunk like hell sitting in someone's lap. But again, Suga was nothing but nice with him. His friends were nice and friendly, and not to forget Jungkook saved Taehyung. So does he trust them to go with them? Yes. Yes, he does. Jungkook smiled, looking at his friend who has been staring at Jimin all night. You are our friend now, Jimin. You won't be any trouble. Moreover, I will not be at peace if I don't see you both safe and sound back to the hotel, Jungkook said with a smile. Suga came forward and caught him hand softly. Jimin looked at him finally. Let us drop you, beautiful. I will not feel good if I leave you here, Suga said with a smile. Jimin looked down shyly and nodded his head. Jungkook smiled. Finally, the grumpy cat is falling for someone and he can't be more happier for them. He turned and entered the car only to find it empty. Where is Tae? The door at the other side was open, and there he saw a wobbling figure dancing in front of a restaurant. Some guys were basking and Taehyung was groving his hips sexily. Jungkook widened his eyes and rushed towards the dancing boy. Taehyung was lost in the music, groving his hips in the vibe when he felt a pair of hands pulling him towards a muscular chest. He looked back and exclaimed loudly, "Cookie!" He raised his hands and wrapped it around his neck. We need to go back, babe. No, Tay wants to dance more. We will dance back in the hotel, babe. Please, let's go, he said, and was about to pull the boy when he pushed Jungkook and rushed towards the club again, but this time Jungkook was fast. He rushed towards him and wrapped him tightly in his embrace. He giggled, jumping in his arms. Jungkook was staring at his cute acts when he noticed people whispering and smiling, looking at them. He looked at his Hyungs, who were smiling as well. He rose his eyes in confusion. Hobie chuckled and pointed at the ceiling. Both Taekook looked up and blushed as they were standing under a mistletoe. Look, mummy, they are standing under the mistletoe. A little boy said, who was having dinner at the restaurant with his family. Are they gonna kiss, mummy? He clapped his hands, jumping excitedly. Both Taekook shyly looked away, listening to the little boy. Please kiss him, mister, the boy said, jumping more. Come on, Kook. You should not break traditions, you know, Hobie said and winked at him. You should not break a little boy's heart too. See how excited he is, Suga said in teasing tone. Taehyung bit his lips shyly, looking down. Jungkook was just awestruck by the beauty in his arms. He cupped his face with one hand, another still wrapped around his waist. He traced his lips slowly with his thumb. Taehyung was stiff suddenly. He gulped hard, staring at the other's lips. Jungkook could feel his nervousness. Maybe some other day, Hyung, he said and pulled away. Taehyung shyly looked away. On the other hand, Jimin was amazed. He couldn't believe someone just said no to kiss him. While the whole world will do anything just to have a piece of him, he really liked this boy, not just by looks but by his soul too. Yakim, Taehyung, you should not miss the chance to kiss this hot bunny. Get him. Jimin shouted, cheering for him. The whole restaurant started to cheer for them. Kiss, 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 kiss. Jungkook looked at the shy boy who was jumping and dancing a moment ago and now all shy and innocent. He is mesmerized by the duality. He smiled, showing his bunny teeth. He cupped his cheeks with both hands and kissed his forehead. Everyone cooed at them. Jungkook grabbed his wrist and was about to take him to the car when we was pulled back and a pair of soft lips landed on his rough ones. He was taken back for a second, but when he registered that his crush is kissing him, he could be more happy. He closed his eyes and kissed him deeper. He wrapped his hands around his Tae waist and pulled him closer. The kiss was slow and passionate. The whole restaurant filled with loud cheer, but both didn't care about anyone at the moment. It was their first kiss. Both were lost in their own euphoria. They pulled back when they felt the lack of oxygen. They looked at each other smiling. Jungkook kissed his forehead again and joined their forehead. "I gave you my first kiss, treasure it," Taehyung said, biting his lips. "And you stole my first kiss. Preserve it." On the whole way back to the hotel, Taehyung was a chatterbox and Jungkook quietly listened to his rant, followed by an amused bunch of friends. He carried him the whole way. Not like he had a choice anyway. Taehyung didn't want it to get on and Jungkook happily carried him without complaining. Hoseok got a room for Vmin next to theirs and got the keys. He opened the door and everyone got in. Jungkook sat on the bed with Taehyung still in his lap. After another hour passed, it was getting late and they knew it was time to take their leave. Taehyung was still rambling about some alien stuffs while settled in Jungkook's lap. Jungkook was listening to every word with intense focus. Suga was staring at the shy mochi, and Jimin was a red tomato, knowing very well how someone was staring at him with hard eyes. Hobie watched the two newly made couples with hard eyes. He knew it was now his job to take them back to the room. He felt bad to be that person, but what can he do? "I think we should go now," Hobie said, breaking the silence. Both couple looked at him and realized the time. Nobody wanted to move, but what can they do? With slow steps, Suga got up and Jimin followed. They wanted to say many things, but no words were forming. Suga went to Jimin and pulled him closer by his nape. He placed a soft kiss on his forehead and let his lips linger on his skin for some time. "I will see you tomorrow, pretty," he said, and Jimin blushed, looking away. On the other hand, Jungkook laid down Taehyung on the bed. He caressed his hair and moved his bangs behind his Tae ear. "I gotta go, Angel. I will see you soon," he said, pecking his forehead. Taehyung got up immediately, clinging to him. "Where are you going, Cookie? I'm not finished yet. I have to explain more how you kicked that baldy Rentacluptus," he exclaimed with big eyes. "There is no such thing as Rentacluptus, Tae," Jimin said, clucking. "I don't care. Cookie will not go anywhere. I have lots of things to explain," he said, raising his hands up in the air. "We will meet tomorrow, Tae. You need to sleep now." Jungkook tried to convince the boy, but he was not having it. He started crying, hugging him like his life depends on it. "Okay, don't cry, babe. I'm sorry. I will not leave you, Angel." Jungkook hugged and rubbed his back, soothing him. Yoon Min-seok looked at each other and back at them. They smiled and went out of the room quietly, leaving them alone. "Well, I guess they are staying together. Let's go, you can stay with us in our room," Suga said, catching Jimin's hand. They walked towards the room when Suga realized Hobie was not with them. He called him and he picked up in the first ring. "Where are you, Hobie? We almost reached the room," Suga asked with concern. "Don't worry, bro. I'm taking another room." "Another room, but why?" Suga asked with a frown. "I figured not only Jungkook, but you also need some alone time with your new friend. Make a good use of it, Suga. Good night." Hobie said, cut the call before Suga could say anything. He looked back at Jimin, who was looking at him with small cute eyes. "Ah, is it okay to stay with me tonight, cutie?" Jimin blushed at the nicknames. Suga has been calling him with lots of nicknames and he is loving it. He bit his lips, looking down shyly, and nodded his head in approval. "Yes, you guys kissed and all, and Uni also told me, and you guys did some naughty stuffs which Jungkook totally didn't tell him in detail, but he said that nothing else happened. You guys kissed and cuddled and talked whole night." Jimin finished the story while Taehyung was still sleeping in his lap, hiding his face in his stomach. He is nice boy, Tae. Anybody would have taken advantage of the situation. You were drunk and literally naked cuddling with him all night. But still, he didn't do anything. He knew you will regret it the next day. And he didn't want to take your first time when you were drunk. He really loves you. Taehyung felt his eyes filling with tears again. He sobbed loudly, hiding his face. The whole time Namjoon were listening, everything standing on the door with teary eyes. He loves you, Bear. Stop him please, Jin said, coming inside the room. Taehyung got up, rubbing his eyes with his sleeves. He is really a nice boy, Tae. If you still don't believe him, I can always do a background check on him. But believe me, Tae, the way he looks at you, his eyes shows pure love for you, Namjoon said and hugged Taehyung. Give him a chance, Bear. Don't let our past affect you, Jin said, caressing his hair. But I hurt him, Hyung. He already left. I lost him, he said. Well, technically his flight is in 1 hour, Jimin said, taking out a jacket for Taehyung. If you hurry up, you can catch him in the airport. He threw the jacket to him. Taehyung catched the jacket and thought for a second. Will he still want me when I hurt him? Will he stay with me when I left him alone? Will you come back to me, Cookie? Do you know how to fly a car? Let me teach you. Take a deep breath, hold your beating heart, grab the steering wheel and hit that accelerator hard, and don't you dare to touch the brakes. And boost the car FLIs in 120 km. And you might want your friends to buckle up the seatbelts, or else they will be shuffling here and there like Jiminy is shuffling behind me. By the way, don't try it at home. Now back to the story. We are on the way to airport to stop my would-be lover Jungkookie. After almost breaking every traffic signal and almost killing my Hyungs, we reached the airport in one piece and without breaking any bones. But it's already 4:50, which means we have only 10 minutes left for takeoff. Please, Cookie, don't board the flight. I stopped the car and rushed inside the airport. There were too many people today. Arg, I hate airports. I shuffle from person to persona and finally reached to the check-in counter. Excuse me, the flight to Seoul. Sorry, sir. The flight is already set to take off. But ma'am, I need to talk to somebody in that flight. I'm really sorry, sir, but everybody has already boarded the flight and... A sound heard from the window at the side showing a flight taking off. And took off just now, the lady said. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos.